April the 5th, 2011. Ron, would you like people busing tonight? Seems how you're busy.
I would do that, yes ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Dear Lord, I hope
That's
this
okay, we're
camera
3
works.
minutes behind
Amen.
you.
Dear Lord, thank you for these people that serve our city so well and so faithfully. Every week they come in and they do the business of the city. This being an election night, I would also like to thank the Lord for us being Americans and being born here and having the opportunity to live in a town like St. John where you know it's election day and every flag is out and everyone is participating. We want to thank you for all of these blessings that you give us and this beautiful warm weather. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Ron. Okay, is there any additions to the agenda?
Yes, if it's okay with the council, I'd like to move to add to the agenda a new house being built out here that needs permission to put a septic system in. Don Taylor,
Okay, and we'll put that in our mail.
Lady Farm. Thank you, Mayor.
Now, do I need a motion for that one, or just?
Where is Mel? Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Do we need a motion on
I
that,
don't
Dawn,
think
or
we
is
do.
that just?
I don't think you do.
Okay, okay.
Probably the mayor approves it, then you will.
Okay, is there any other additions? Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to add a standing invoice here that my spending limit was $2,000, and after it was tallied up, it was $162.08 over, so I need to
Okay,
add this to that.
okay, is there any other additions? All right, thank you. Consent agenda, Donna?
To approve the minutes of the regular meeting March 15th, 2011, and to approve appropriation ordinance 0405-2011 in the amount of $79,081.10.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Thank you. There's no citizen comments this evening. Fire Department, Michael?
First thing is the beer garden for the Jubilee. We want to start at 6 and go till, I think, John thought the band was done at 1. Is that right? We'll go till 1 and then Saturday from 11 to 4.
Okay.
We can no longer return any beer that we purchase, so Saturday till 4 might not be that late. I mean, we're only going to go until we run out,
Okay.
so.
I'll move for that.
For a second?
The second.
I'll second.
Thank
And
you.
we have already had.
All those in
Oh,
favor?
I'm sorry.
All those in favor say. Is there any more discussion?
Yeah, is there a, I'm questioning a little bit on Saturday. You know, we've got lots of reunions and things, and the VFW does a Saturday night dance and out there, and hands-on experience last year, if they sat in the beer garden till 4 o'clock, you don't get the people, and if the ones you get are most generally pretty drunk.
What time does the VFW start?
We start that deal about 6:37, something like that. And we don't have a class that's got it rented this year so far. But,
Do you guys still stay open even though there's any class reunions?
yeah,
Will be
it'll
open
be open. But it's always seemed like it always waits till the last minute. But I'm just a little concerned about, is that taken away from there?
But last year was the first year that the beer garden opened on Saturday, correct?
No, it's the second
The
year.
second year? So both years in a row you've seen the same pattern?
Because the first year we did it was because Friday night, they could not hold it because of the tornado. And so then that's
So
when they
two nights
asked if,
in, yeah.
then that's when they came and asked if they could do beer garden on Saturday. we called for a special meeting that morning, on Saturday morning, and then that was the first, 2 years ago, was the first time on Saturday. And then, yeah, the last year.
You know, the parade's at what, 1 o'clock,
1:30.
1:30? Now, I don't have a problem having it on Saturday, but we're starting at 11 o'clock, and we're going all the way through the parade till 4 o'clock. I'm not opposed to doing it, I just put it out there for some discussion.
A lot of the class reunions start, and they're not usually at the Bear Garden. They're usually, they have their own
It's
private
home
place,
place,
so,
sure.
Yeah,
But it seems like everybody winds up to get that,
yeah.
right,
I
exactly.
mean,
Very true. Okay, is there any more discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Okay,
Second thing is,
go ahead, I just said thank you.
by February of 2013, we're going to have all the radios are going to be narrow band. So I need to start now by probably upgrading some of our radios. I know we have a few radios that'll work, but there's some of them that won't. So if I get a few now and get a few later, it will be all at one time.
What's the total that you have, that we have, Michael?
The
How
total.
many radios?
Probably somewhere around 21. We have no spare radios, so
So
I would say somewhere around 21 or 22.
Okay,
And how much do they cost a piece
Um,
to upgrade them?
the new ones are going to be about $750 a piece.
Piece?
And they come with a 3-year warranty.
and what is wrong with the old ones?
Nothing, they tell us we have to upgrade.
And who says we have to upgrade?
Well, they're going to the different
Narrow band,
branches,
right.
so they won't work, right?
Right. By February of 2013 is the estimated date where they will no longer work.
So do you have it now? Kind of.
Well, I know we've got maybe 4 or 5 that'll work right now. So I mean, there's probably not going to be all of them that we're going to have to upgrade. I need to get an inventory of total, but I would still like to have a couple extra radios in case something happens to one and we don't have somebody without a radio.
So you're thinking about doing some now, and then
Right.
have mapped out how many you want to purchase each time
Right.
until then.
Right.
So how many did you want now?
Just 3.
3?
So we're not gonna have pagers anymore, Mike? Is that what you're telling me?
Not gonna what?
Have the pagers anymore, everybody's gonna have a radio?
Right.
How many people's on city park?
I think 22. The only thing with the pager is I don't want somebody going into a fire that has no way to talk to somebody on the outside if something happens on the inside of the fire.
I agree.
And a pager is, I think they said about $400 or $500. So you're really not saving a
The
bunch.
differences, yeah. One thing we can do with the budget that we have right now is you have a $1,500 budget for radio repair and equipment this year. And at budget time, if we have the rest of your figures and what you need, that could be considered then for purchases for next year,
Okay.
the following year. Does that
Mhm.
sound like a... That wouldn't cover 3 right now, but if you're careful on other line items, you could probably make that work.
I mean, even if we could get 2,
right.
I mean, as long as we have a couple spares, because right now if someone breaks, we don't have an extra for them until we send it off and get it fixed. So,
So is there a motion on the table?
Yeah, so you've looked at this, and I mean, you think 3 is feasible right now?
yeah, oh
I mean,
yeah,
that's
right,
what you came to us with, was 3.
right.
So.
I thought if we did 3 now and then maybe wait till the end
This budget,
of the
with
year,
budget and everything.
and then see where we're at, and if we have a little extra money.
Okay, I mean, if that's, yeah, all
Okay.
for the purchase of the fire department for 3 new radios. Sorry, I don't know exactly what to call those things, so if you have something else to roll there, I'll take it.
I'll second that.
Is there any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no.
No.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you, council. Is there anything else?
That's it for me.
Okay, any questions for Michael?
No, but you had a busy weekend.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I just want to tell you again how much I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I was driving back from Wichita actually and saw a fire to the south, and I came into town and you were filling up the track, I think, and it just kind of went on from there, or it had been going all day probably.
Mm-hmm.
But that was crazy. You guys did a great job.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Police Department, Sunny, do you have anything?
No, ma'am.
Is there any questions for Sunny tonight? Thanks, Sunny. Administration, Mel.
Okay, in regard to what Bobby had brought up to be put on the agenda, at the Don Taylor property where the house is going to be built, it has been inspected by the Kansas Local Environmental Planning Group, who has authority over this area to grant permission for the private septic system. And he's submitted a copy of his application and what they're planning on doing. And I spoke with him on the phone, and he said Don was going above what is the minimum requirement. This will be a first-rate system. So he saw no reason without not granting permission for that to be installed. So the council's approval, they can proceed.
Do you have a motion, please?
Do you consider this the best
Pardon
option? Can I ask for your opinion in this,
I think
please?
with everything on the situation down there, it's
The whole
best way to
situation
go.
entirely, this is like the
Best way
best
to go.
option.
Yeah.
Bob, would you, I mean,
I'd make a motion that we allow Don Taylor to go ahead and proceed with his sewer project immediately.
I second that.
Is there any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Do you think we need to mention septic system, or?
If you want to.
I just didn't know how to put it in here,
That's
so.
what, well, that's what Bobby is implying specifically, so
Okay.
if that's what needs to be included.
I think it needs to be in that way,
Yeah,
as opposed to
Sewer.
yeah.
sewer system.
Okay, thank you. All those opposed say no. Thank you. I didn't get my sentence finished, Jim, before Shauna said something.
Sorry.
That's okay.
The next item I had was regard to the citywide cleanup, and it's well underway, but I just wanted to give the people here in town an explanation. There's been some changes this year in what can be picked up and what cannot be picked up, and we did not find out about these changes until after the last council meeting. Or I would have mentioned them then. We put them in the paper and added the changes to our flyers, and so hopefully next year we'll be informed of any changes in time to pass it on. And mainly it was for we're not able to pick up any plastic this year whatsoever. Any materials that are made out of plastic we cannot pick up. We can also not pick up any e-waste, computers, VCRs, TVs. So if someone still sees that sitting there, and they can be taken to the county, down at the county shop at their facility down there, and they're set up to take the e-waste down there. But any plastics that's left, you'll have to set them out, and the trash service can pick them up. Next item, I was asked to talk about the concrete out at Centennial Court, and where we're at right now. I've sent some pictures of some of the places out there that are in question as far as some cracks and stuff to our engineer, and also he will be down on the 14th of April to do a personal inspection of that and give us a report back, just for information right now. Next thing I have is swimming pool manager applications, and I'd like to request a 10-minute executive session for the purpose, non-elected personnel for the purpose of discussing the pool manager application.
An executive session?
Talk over application.
I will move that we adjourn for executive session.
All those in favor say aye.
There wasn't a second.
Oh, sorry, there wasn't.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Jim. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no.
No.
Who did you want in the?
All council, the mayor and myself.
Thank you.
Season?
Second.
As a manager?
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry, I skipped that. Okay, we have mowing bids.
How many do you have?
I have two here. Okay, the first one is from Angela Hanson for the sum of $60 per hour. The second one is B&J Mowing for $50 an hour. So that's all we have.
We have two.
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 I'll move to approve the hiring of B&J Mowing again for this 2011.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
What's the insurance requirements on that, Mel?
Same as it has, same as I think it's.
And you still have your,
I've got two certificate of
I
insurance.
have $1 million.
You do have a
Yeah.
certificate of insurance?
I have $1 million, or $2 million.
sorry, I didn't ask that, because
What
in
is
the
it?
past, they've had the
I'm
same
93
That's her.
They've had coverage every year.
times 3.
3 million?
Who's this? Three?
B&J.
Minus 3. Oh, sorry.
On the specs for them to bid, we list what they
Minimum.
have to have, their minimum, and
Let me see what it said.
I can't remember what it is.
I'm sure she got.
I want to say,
The contractor must further show proof of $300,000
That's what she has.
and $600,000 liability.
What was the liability?
300 or 600.
Okay, if you add these two together, it's 600. so
It's
yeah.
$300,000 and $600,000.
Is there any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Thank you.
All right, we'll get back on. Okay, next item is ordinance 1000, reestablish the planning commission. You had that in your packet.
Yes.
It was brought up at the last planning commission meeting we had, and in fact, this and the next item, the planning commission bylaws was recommended to the council for approval by the planning commission.
These are the new ones that they've been working on with Bickley, Foster.
Okay. So are we wanting to hold off on that till, I mean, what,
Okay, they went over, it, they've upgraded, do I want to say?
where they want it to be?
Yes, where we
They
need to be,
made the
yes.
recommendation.
And they're making a recommendation to the council
As
to
long
approve
as-
them, and then they can move on with the next section that they're working on. So do we want to do these separately, Mel, or?
Yeah, so what are we on? I mean, we had
Okay,
ordinance number 1000, and we also had the bylaws. So what are we talking about
We're
right now?
talking about the 1,000. I brought up the bylaws because I wanted to make sure you understood that they were recommending both of those be accepted and passed by the council. So we need to do it
So one
separately.
at a time. I mean, last time there was a question about whether or not the planning commission, right, Bob, had taken a look at this ordinance. And now they're saying they have, and they would like to accept it.
Yeah, and there was a misunderstanding there. They had already done the ordinance 1,000, okay? The day of the meeting, they got the
Okay.
old
So they weren't
bylaws.
sure what we were talking about.
Exactly.
Okay,
But-
well, I'll move to approve ordinance number 1,000. Or accept it, sorry.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Second.
Any more discussion?
Yeah, I have a little bit of discussion. I thought we was gonna make this a little more simpler, a little more easier to understand. And this compared to the old one is another 3/4 of a page longer than the old one.
Have you read it?
Yes, I've read it several times.
Okay.
What do you,
So what's wrong with it?
It says here, if any member has a conflict of interest in any matter coming before the commission, he or she shall be disqualified to discuss or vote on this matter. Well, the fact of the matter is, the people you need to be sitting on here is gonna have a conflict with everything that's
okay,
done.
where are you at? You're just rambling on and I don't even know where you're at. What
I'm in
section?
section 2, about 3/4 of the way down the paragraph. Right here where the pink is.
Where's the say, where do you start again?
Says if any member has a conflict of interest in any matter coming before the commission, he or she shall be disqualified to discuss or vote on this matter, on the matter. The fact of the matter is, any contractor is going to have a conflict of interest on this particular thing if you're talking about rezoning. He's a contractor. And if he happens to be sitting on your board, he's not going to be able to vote. And he's the people you need making your decisions.
Your current makeup, I don't think has a contractor on there,
Mm-mm.
No, it doesn't now, but there may be.
do
Well,
It's typical.
yeah, I was gonna say, that's no different than here, Bobby. If there's a conflict of interest, whether it's you or Kevin, you guys oppose not to vote, to sit out on that vote.
Just like
Exactly, we do.
when you are, when Bob's hauling service does work for the city, you don't sign your own bill. There are other members of the council that allow it to go through. You don't sign off on your own bill.
Bill.
Same with Kevin. Davis
Exactly.
Electrical, I
And
mean,
if
so-
there's a bid,
That's
so
the
yeah,
council.
if there's a conflict of interest here, it's kind of saying the same thing, that person, if
That person would
single
just
person,
recuse themselves from voting for that particular matter, not every
but
matter.
in all other
And that
matters.
is
there's
typical.
five on there,
Okay, if you've got somebody that's rezoning a piece of property, and you're looking at it because it doesn't meet the zoning requirements, and you have a contractor sitting on there that knows probably more about boundary lines than anybody around, you want to not let him vote, not let him put his input into it?
Well,
That's the kind of people that you need input into your zoning board, not to make them stay out. Is contractors. Contractors, people that work with this thing every day.
Why would he have a conflict of interest in somebody else's property?
You're talking about a contractor.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
You're not talking about the person that's on the board.
I'm talking about a contractor that might be sitting on the zoning commission,
Are you talking about a general contractor?
a general contractor.
Okay, we don't have any general contractors.
well, not to say you wouldn't in the future. I
We
see
don't
what
on
you're saying
the
now.
board right now, but what's to say that maybe Troy Wellender, let me think here, Jeff Williamson,
They're not overall general contractors. They specialize in something.
they're not
No,
general
they're-
contractors?
Yes, they
Troy is,
Troy might.
is Troy, is Jeff?
are. I would consider them,
No.
And then I've got another
He
issue here.
specializes in what?
Electricity.
Electricity. Jeff does,
Mhm.
maybe.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Troy,
He does some.
I would
I'd
consider
hire
general.
him.
I wouldn't.
Not a
Here,
commercial contractor.
for this area.
I don't know. I'm going to disagree with you because, I mean, when you have, it's no different than this table here. If we're asking for bids on something, Kevin always opts to set out conflict of interest. So we go on with the process.
Exactly right, Jill, but you're talking about money here. Here you're talking about somebody building a project. There's a big
It's the
difference.
same thing, it's
No, it
money.
isn't.
It's money.
No, it isn't.
Dawn,
I
do you
rest-
have input?
We'll move on.
I don't see, I don't understand.
Also in section 6, why do they need a budget?
Okay, they buy stamps, they buy envelopes.
Actually, they have a budget now, it's
That's what I was
within
gonna say.
the general fund under administration through my office. I do all the correspondence and so forth, so we're already paying for things that are going on. They don't have any salaries or anything like that, so it's basically just business expenses to do business.
And also too, I mean, everything, you know, paper-wise comes through the city for them, for the commissioners, whenever John runs stuff off for them. And John is really good about reusing paper, recycling.
I guess I don't understand what the problem is with this if the zoning board has already approved it. And that's what we have appointed them to do, is give us direction. And if they're all saying they're in agreement with this, and Bickley Foster has recommended this, I'm not sure why we're arguing it. Because our job isn't to micromanage that.
I didn't say it was. My job is to do the best thing for
But
the
you're picking
taxpayers of
apart.
this community.
That's not what we're talking
Move on.
about. You're picking apart the sections sentence by sentence.
Mhm.
And they've already
Because I
done
just-
that for us.
I don't think that's a good sentence.
So how do you think it should be worded?
I don't think it should be a conflict of interest. If you have someone like a contractor sitting on that board, they should be able to put their input in, they should be able to vote. And we don't have that situation right now. But 5 years from now, we might, or the next bunch of them, we might. I don't know.
It's just
I don't know, to me,
typical of people to recuse themselves in a conflict of interest. That's typically how it's done.
that's,
I'm not,
And it didn't used to have to be stated, I'm sorry.
yeah,
Exactly.
it
Used to
was
be,
just an ethical issue.
Yeah, it was, yeah, you knew
Which-
that it was appropriate for you to do so. And unfortunately, our world has come to this, where you have to put things in there like that.
okay. Is there any more in there? Bobby? All those in favor to pass ordinance number 1000?
Oh,
Yes.
I will move to pass ordinance.
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody
That
say yes.
was a discussion, I think.
Okay,
Everybody say yes.
yes.
Those,
Aye.
yeah, thank
No.
you. Okay. Those against? Okay, Bobby said no. All right, thank you. Now, another motion for the bylaws for the City of St. John Planning Commission.
I myself can honestly say I've only skimmed this. I have not
Good, all through.
sat down and had a chance to completely read it, but I can also say that I do trust what the Planning Commission has recommended, because that's what they are there for, and they've spent time with this, so that's where I'm at. I
And to
haven't
me, it was pretty
completely
good,
dove into
because
it, but I'm okay with accepting it.
Anybody else have any more discussion on this?
Is there a
Well,
motion?
there wasn't a motion.
Well, no, but is there
But
any more
what,
talk?
I mean, what do you guys think?
I've read it. And I too agree that the reason we have the planning commission is so they can make these decisions and recommend them. They've recommended this to us. They all approve it, so I make a motion to accept it.
Is there a second?
I'll second it, and if we find out that there's something that they're doing that we think is wrong, we can change it.
Yeah, do you think there's something wrong now?
No,
Okay, okay, all right,
but if there should be, it
Okay.
could be changed.
all right. So there's a motion on the table and Jim seconded it. All those in favor say
Any
aye.
discussion?
Oh, is there any more discussion? Sorry. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no.
No.
Okay, now something I will say, that any of you council members are welcome to come sit for 3-4 hours with this commission board when they're doing this section by section. And listen to what they have to say. You can have your input, am I right or wrong, Donna? You can be in part of the discussion with them.
They wouldn't be a part of the vote,
Right.
but they would be part of the
But they
discussion.
still will listen to you.
When is that
If
taking
you,
place?
if you would like to know, Jonna can tell you the days and the time. Okay?
Next one's May the 4th. Now we skip a month.
Yes,
May the 4th?
No.
the
May,
fourth
fourth
Monday.
Monday of May is what I was trying to get at.
And we're gonna have some meetings.
So it'll be the 23rd, Bobby, May 23rd, but that's in red. What is that day?
That's gonna be Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
Victoria Day.
Oh.
And we have some issues coming up that were, variants and zoning changes that there'll be hearings advertised in the paper for. And again, you're welcome to come. They will be making some decisions then. But as far as going through the zoning regulations, it will be, the next time will be the 23rd.
But anybody's welcome to come to that. And I mean, like I say, it's been going 3 or 4 hours at a time.
4.5 hours last time.
Okay,
I
sorry.
wasn't aware of that.
Okay, I'm sorry, Bobby. I apologize for not letting council members know that. So, if you would like a copy that what they're going over, please let Jonna know so she can get you a copy so you can study it just like they're studying it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, council. Okay, Mel.
Okay, the next item is moving electrical line on the big ditch. This has come up again, so I guess I've got some figures here, and if the council wants to take action on it, that's fine. Due to the erosion out along the big ditch, mostly it's from Kurt Fairchild's back to the south, to the bridge there that goes to Keith Fairchild's place there. Anyway, so we figured the price from going from, I don't know if you're all familiar with Harold Tanner's Drive, it goes back to the old farm there. It's right, kind of right across there from Kurt's place there. And the poles from there on are on the big ditch side, but the ditch isn't as steep, or you won't have the erosion problem that we've had to the south there. So we're going only to renew up to Kurt Fairchild's service there and at the drive of Harold Tanner's. So the price for going overhead is $8,015.84. And before we do any work out there, we're going to want to get it surveyed so we know that I've got permission from the township board to install any poles or whatever inside the township's right away. So the survey is going to run around $700. So the $8,015.84 plus the $700 survey. And I know there's been some discussion in the past about going underground. The same distance for going underground is $21,338.34 plus $700 survey.
Did you give me the overhead total again? 8,015 and
84 cents.
80.
Mayor, I'd like to
Yeah.
request a 5-minute executive session for acquisition of real estate.
Yes.
I'll move for that.
Second. Who's included?
Mayor, council, no, myself.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no.
We continue on, we were at the underground price, and that was $21,338.34 plus the $700 for the survey. And it's also been mentioned in the past and recently about the idea of maybe the city abandoning the power poles and service out to two customers out there, and plus the sewer ponds, which also is served by this power line here. Last year, or actually 2 years ago at the last year's race, or what this year's race, I'm sorry. If we were to purchase the power to run the sewer ponds out there, it's $2,676 at our cost. So over a 10-year period, that's $26,765 or some odd cents. We would also, if we gave that up, we would also lose revenue from two customers out there, and that's in excess of $3,000 a year. So once again, we're 10 years. So that's the information I have for you, and you can whatever you want to do, or if you want more information, we can do that also.
My input is I'd like to see us move this to old business or, hold off for a little bit. I'd like to have some time to think as well as maybe some more information.
You want to move the table?
Do we have to do that?
If you do, that's what happens.
Okay, I move to table this matter.
Okay, and I would definitely like it on the next agenda, please.
Yeah.
You gotta vote on that, I'd
This
second
has been
that.
on the back burner for quite some time.
Second. Really? It's the first time I've seen it here.
Well, we've been talking about this since 2007,
Yeah.
so I think that's what she means by background.
Yeah,
Back burner. Hasn't been on the agenda though.
no, that's what I say.
So we have a motion.
I
and a
call
second.
for the question.
Yes.
To table the,
Moving of the electrical lines at the big ditch. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no.
And you can let the office know, let me know whatever information you would need or whatever, I'm trying to get that around that. Okay, next item I had is nitrate well work, and Bobby and the mayor, and John and I, and Jim Dorn, and
Don Taylor.
yeah, Don Taylor, I'm sorry. I went to the Kansas River Water Association meeting in Wichita, and went to several very informative workshops down there, and went to one specifically on the nitrate, and engineer from EVH was there and had some good information and had some slides in regard to some other plants that have been put in this area, Lewis, Belton, and Goodland, I believe it was. Bobby or anybody else, do you have any comment on what you heard down there?
No, other than I learned quite a bit about it. I did like that Don Heller awful well.
Yes.
I thought he done an excellent job. He's put in 5 different plants around. He put Lewis in, he put Belter in, or helped put Lewis in. He done one at Goodland, and he's working on 2 right now. And I think he's very knowledgeable. And I'd like to set up a workshop, or I'd like to take some of the council members to go look at some of these plants. I'd go like to go to Lewis, Belfry. The one at Lewis, the guy that works for the city built that plant, and they had $400,000 in it. Now I went down and discussed some stuff with Lane, and there might be there's some work in legislature right now with KDHE that they're looking at being able to get rid of the wastewater down a disposal, a deep hole disposal. But I've got some stuff that I put together, and I think there's some possibilities. It's going to be expensive, but I think it'll work in time.
The guy from EVH helped, was it Don, or what was his first name? Helen?
Yeah, Don.
Yeah, Don. He called me up and he, said, well, some people from St. John asked a lot of questions, kind of what's going on. And I told him, and he said that if we wanted to go to any of those plants you're talking about, just let him know and he could arrange a tour.
I'd like to, of course, I'm just talking here, I'd like to, when we have a workshop on this deal, I'd like to invite him down and have him there, have him here to answer our questions. I think he can do that.
Is he from Pratt?
He's from
He's
Cunningham.
from Cunningham.
Yeah.
Seemed like very, very knowledgeable.
Yeah, he's not like a really nice
He's in
guy.
case they when I was in school.
Yeah.
He
Very
worked
nice.
he worked on a project for Stafford.
I just wish there was other ways to get rid of the wastewater.
I did find out the outfit that we got on board hasn't built one of these plants yet. That makes me a little nervous.
BWR?
Well, no, but I thought he was going to give us information on who does build them.
Oh, I thought he was,
Well, I mean, he's the engineer, but a lot of these are packaged plants. You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
that's what it showed on, these are all made up ahead of time,
Yeah.
a lot of them, and bring them in, and that's why, out at Goodland, there's,
Yeah. Was on a skid.
you can skid in and, raise the capacity. So a lot of the preliminary stuff is done, but yeah, there's engineering for piping and all this other stuff. And the thing that we're looking at too, is that, we're gonna have to pump our wells to one central location. So that's, the other thing that will be, costs that will be on top of the
Right.
actual plant itself, so.
Right.
yeah, it's gonna be a pretty pricey deal.
So we've got some basic information from BWR already, and at our next workshop, we were going to look at, trying to find out which way the council wants to go with this as far as routing of the pipes and location and something, and there is a difference in price also. So that was going to be our next step. John was going to get some information on some money, but, it's,
That was my other question when you went to the meetings. Did you sit in on anything that had to do with grants towards something like this? Because this article about Belpre talked about how they had 350,000 of it paid for by a grant.
There are some grants available, but grant money's pretty tough right now, with all the pullbacks. But there's low interest loans, and there's specific things that we have to do to qualify for those. But before we get all into trying to apply for that, we need to have better numbers. And so you guys are going to have to make some decisions on 3 wells or 4, which direction you're going to route. So when I talk to the guys with financing, John Haas with Ranson Associates, he has a template for us to throw our information in, and it's basic, it's about how much water we use and sell and so forth, and what our rates are, and what our numbers are here. He can help us to we also are going to have to spend some time looking at our rates if we're going to qualify for anything other than out of our own pocket at a rate of whatever we can get wherever. Then we are going to have to do something, we're going to have to raise our rates some way or another. And there's a lot of different options to do. Jill and I went to Hayes for they squeezed it a full day into a half a day because the weather was bad, and there was just one other lady besides us that was actually there. So we had a real good one-on-one with ADHE and some of the folks there. So, and that was specific to rate study. So I think we have some pretty good basis on where we need to go and how we need to get there, but there's some decisions that probably need to be made before we can actually punch in those numbers and come back to you guys with a good idea of what we're looking at to try to find.
And how, do we know how long, I went to the forum the other night, and the question was asked, how long before? It was asked, are you for a water treatment facility? We had a council member say, yes, I am. And then it was asked, how long does it take to get one of these put in? He thought in 12 months. I'm thinking that's a pretty short time frame. And I'm thinking the community's going to want to know.
How long is it going to take us to?
Especially after one person puts something in their head,
Yeah.
I see what
Yeah.
you're saying. Yeah.
We have a couple that are very vocal and for this, and I think we all want to get it fixed, but I think we have to have some...
We need to be realistic, and we need to make sure
Mhm.
that we're informing the public as much as we can, because, thus far, it's a very frustrating process for them to look in on, because they aren't informed. We've been looking at this for some time, and we've had things going on behind the scenes, so to speak, And people don't know that.
Mhm.
You know,
And it was
they
kind of the
think that
impression
we aren't
the
doing
night
anything.
that we hadn't done
And
anything
nothing,
on this.
yeah. And then you plant a number in their heads, and
And I guess I want the community to know that we have been discussing this, and
You guys have taken samples from all the wells, is that right, Bobby?
Yes.
they've pursued a number of
Okay.
things, yeah.
so we've been
And
working on it, but I don't want to say we're going to have a water treatment facility
We
in
don't know that.
1 year.
we don't know.
Yeah, and at this point, you know, you guys have talked about finding a new well or a treatment, you know, are you ready to say that we're done looking for that water somewhere else and we're gonna go with the treatment? I mean, to me, that's the next logical step of making your decisions. Are you still trying to pursue both avenues?
I would like to do a little more testing out east of town in the grassland. It's a long ways from town, and I don't know what it costs to drill a well out there, but the water rights is another issue, like Don said. But I'd like to get a sample out there, a couple of samples or something, just to see what the water was out around Leonard Davis's, because there's no irrigation out in there. Just to see if it's running the same thing we're running here, then there's only one thing to do, put a plant in. Bottom line.
But what Don Heller said, you know, Belbury, they drilled a new well, and
Exactly.
what, 6 years later, it was high nitrates, and
Exactly.
I think
They're
that's what
pretty
we're
paying
going
for
into.
both of them.
And
So
we're
Yeah, they're
living
paying-
here.
they're paying for both of them right now. So, I mean, the more
It look-
time we do on water sampling, the further we're gonna get behind on a treatment plant.
That's very true.
And I mean, from last year to now, I mean, Dennis told us we're already 15,000 behind now, or added on from a year ago, am I right? I mean, he stood right there and told us that. It's went up 15,000. So, you know, if we keep, I know it's gonna take us a while to get our numbers punched in and all that, but if we move forward to a plant, I think it's gonna get us closer to a plant.
I would say you're probably 2 years off from having a plant operate. Now, if you're gonna shell out $1 million on this table, you can probably have it done in probably the next 3.5, 4 months.
Well, I would hope that we could maybe
But I would
possibly
say
have,
what's your opinion, man?
Oh, I think we're definitely over a year away.
I'd say we're close to 2 years. Time you get them lines all laid, you get it centralized, you get your plant in operation, I'll bet you're looking down the road 2 years. Time you get the funding.
and you know, but still, that's good. That's what we're looking forward to.
Well,
You
yeah.
know, we're moving forward with it, you know, but if we continue to, and, you know, I appreciate you looking for good water, but, I mean, that's, I don't know, it's just gonna put us further behind, so.
So at this point, I mean, can we go ahead and take steps to look at some more things? You're wanting to go and tour some places.
Yeah,
Can we go ahead and say, let's get that set up between us and go do it?
I know Goodland's much bigger than we are. They've got 12 wells. I don't, what did he say that was pumping in there?
I don't really recall.
But they have it set up where they could do, like,
Expand.
yeah, if they needed to. That one there looked very interesting to me. They all looked interesting, especially Lewis, the guy that built theirs. But, yeah,
Well, we need
I
to
like
make
the
sure
one
that
at
we're
Lewis.
as
Looked pretty
informed
simple to me.
as we can be.
Yeah.
And
I'll get
that
started.
we know, you know, that we're all learning about this and talking through it. To me, it seems like the first step is we've been at it for a while,
Yeah.
but to continue to learn.
and hopefully
What-
get some numbers.
How do we need to do that? How do we need to set up
We can
some
just,
time with
call
whoever?
Don
Let's,
Call Don Heller and tell him that we're interested
Okay.
in going to these
if
plants.
everybody's in agreement, let's do that. Let's get it going.
Okay.
I've known Don Heller for 40 years, and I trust what he does. And he did this Safe the Byways to Schools program, or sidewalks to schools, whatever.
Mhm.
He did
Safe.
that. Safe, whatever that grant for staff.
Yeah, he was a very nice
He
man.
did a very good job doing that, so. I
And he
had full
explains things
confidence
that
in
you
what,
can
if you
understand.
want to retain him, we had full confidence in what he proposed.
Yeah.
well, we'll get a hold of him, get a time set up, and then we'll work out hopefully most can.
And maybe we can have some information and we could get the bus or something and we can post an open meeting and you guys can even discuss some stuff on the way if you want to do it that way. If you don't want to do it that way, then we could just ride along and.
No, let's do the open meeting, post it.
I think that would be good.
I think you have to. You know,
Yeah.
if
I
more
mean,
than
we
two
would-
of you are in a meeting, in a group, you need to.
We would have to post it anyway, but if you want me to be able to have information for you actually to study and discuss or have ahead of time, we can do that. Okay.
We discussed it all the way down there and all the way back, but I was on the council member.
Right, that's okay.
But the map shows, and Mel can correct me if I'm wrong, looks to me like Stafford County or St. John's right on the east side of it. Is that what it looked like to you? I mean, it looks like it's just now coming and western Kansas is covered up.
Yeah, we're pretty much in the red.
Well, it was
Eastern.
It's
great.
just on us.
Yeah, eastern Kansas.
I mean, and we've seen it happening in our readings, you know,
Yeah.
it's.
Okay. Any more?
Okay, no, that's all I had.
Okay. That's about it. Is there?
Did you have something under,
Oh, you're spending
You're
this
spending
invoice.
that
Your invoice now.
Oh,
you're
yeah.
$100 and some dollars
Oh,
over?
yes.
Come on.
Invoice number 29023118-00.
To purchase what?
Oh, I've got lots of things on here.
Oh.
The amount over
The
was
amount,
what?
the total invoice is $2,162.08. It's $162.08 over my spending limit, so I need approval from the council for it.
Okay, what was the number? 2902318-00?
2902318-00, correct.
I'll get it later.
You can have this.
I move to approve it.
Any discussion?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no.
Thank you.
Thanks, council. Is there any questions for Mel tonight? Thanks, Mel.
Thank you.
Administration, Joanna?
Okay, just a couple of things. On the rabies clinic, just for your information, we'll have that Friday, April 15th, and it's in the paper. Dogs from 4 to 6:30 and cats from 6:30 to 7. No changes on our tags and all that. Rabies shot, the city will pay for, so it's free to the citizens of the city. And any additional shots that they might want to have for their animals at the same time, they can work that out with Jim Doran. Is on the rabies clinic?
No, perfect.
Okay. The second thing in your packets, I gave you information, it's actually 2 emails back and forth with Randy Clark, who has been our IT man for quite some time, whatever company he's with. We've just gone with him because I feel like he does a very good job for the right monies. And our server firewall is quite aging, and there's been so many new things that the criminals can do to get in through things like our firewall, that it's really important that we go ahead and upgrade and get it covered. This covers both our offices as well as the police department.
In total, 750
Yes, he
for
had
3 years.
750 for 3 years, and then there'd be an hour to an hour and a half setup in labor, so. And it's like $75 an hour, usually.
Well, I moved to approve the purchasing and installation of the new firewall for the city
Second.
at $750.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Thank you. Is there any questions for Don this evening? Don? you have anything? Is there any questions for Don this evening? Thank you, Don. Is there any new business? Old business, the Pride Committee? Community, sorry. Anything? Okay. Jim, yes.
I move to adjourn.
Second. You should have a scan on these.
Thanks, Council.
Did we vote on the motion?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no.